All right, everyone, welcome back to Chart Request Live. My name is Patrick Dunawilla. I am the editor of the Chart Report. It's just going to be me today. Steve is out still, but he'll be back with us on Tuesday. So bear with us here, but we're still going to have a lot of fun today. And if you're joining us for the first time, the show, you request tickers here and we'll chart them out. But we always give priority to people who email us first. And if we don't get to your ticker today, be sure to email us at questions@stockmarketmedia.com and we'll be sure to get to them. So let's start off with the mailbag, shall we? First, just quick look at the broader market here. Kind of just pausing this week. Not too much action here. You can see on the week we're changed just 11 points. I mean, that's flat pretty much. So not too much action this week, but we'll see. The week is not over yet. A lot can happen between now and Friday's close. So let's start off with SLF, Sun Life Financial here. Having a little bit of a rough week. All right, so this one looks like it broke out recently, probably last week there. Clear resistance level right here. Let me change this. All right, call 30 or 54-ish. Around there. It looks like it's retesting it now. But that was resistance for a while. And if it can hold this, you want to see it hold this support level here. If it doesn't, I would be out. There's really no reason to be long. But you're right now you're playing it back to all-time highs here. And honestly, if I was long here, I would probably only take half off or something here because the base is complete at that point, and then you're looking for even higher. You know, you sat through the whole base. Now you want to see something a little higher. Let me just pull this out a little bit. Then for a target, up here at 71. So maybe take half off if it gets to the base here, or up to the former highs here around 58, and then taking the rest off at 71 or aiming for that target here. But earnings are behind you, so that's a good thing. But let's move on to PR. I can't wait to get to some of these in the chat. And thank you guys for dropping them. Ooh, I like this one. Permian Resources. Okay. So integrated oil and gas, yep. Really nice base here since September or so. Breaking out these last couple days here. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a nice one. We'll get a target on it in just a second. It's kind of even a range. I don't even know if I would draw that as base. Yeah, just range bound, you know, between call it 12 and 15 for the past, you know, 5-6 months or so. But for target, you could use a measured move. So you could just say, okay, 15 minus 12, that's 3, and then add 3 to the 15 and get 18. But the fib gets you pretty much there anyway. So right around 17, upper 17s and 18s would be a good first target for this one. But this looks great. I mean, clearly resolving today, or really resolved yesterday, and it's hanging in there today. So I like that one as long as it's above 15. Oh man, LYB, Lyondell Basel. I never know what this company does, but they're definitely around. So let's zoom out a little bit. Let's start with a weekly here. All right, so you got it's testing this clear shelf resistance right here. Looks like that was created by a gap there. You know it's bad when there's a gap on a weekly chart. I mean, it means that it gapped down Monday, but still, that's significant. You can see that wasn't even on earnings or anything, but you can see every time it's tried to enter that gap, it just gets met with sellers every time. But here we are testing it again. You're either going to get rejected here, and that level's right at 100. Nice psychological level there. Uh, if it clears it, then you're looking at the all-time highs right here, 117, 118. But if not, you're just in for more chop, really. I don't think I would say, you're if it gets rejected here, it's going to go to the lows, and you're in a deathly downtrend. But it's just kind of been messy for the last couple of years. But if it does get that resolution, you want to play it back to those all-time highs, and then it's kind of like the first one we looked at. Maybe take off half here because then you've completed this massive, massive 6-year base here. Because this level is really your target here has been resistance since 2018 there, so or 2017 even. So you're playing it up to here, but then once you hit the target, it's completed a huge pattern. So maybe stick around if it is successful and play it back even further. But it has to clear 100 first. We're probably getting a little ahead of ourselves. Oh, and PR, Wavy, that was yours. Very nice, very nice. Wavy's always bringing the best. I don't know where you're finding these. NDSN, I think, is next. Is that correct? Oh, nice. Very nice. What is this thing? $15 billion, industrial machinery. These small cap industrials have been incredible lately. There's a great chart I put in the chart report yesterday from Austin Harrison showing that small cap industrials relative to the broader market have just been absolutely going vertical. Just crazy. And it's a lot of these names that you're not familiar with. It's not a sexy AI name. They make like gravel or something like that, but these things are just very, very strong. And this looks like it fits in that bucket too. Nordson Corporation. Okay. So nice, really nice 2-year base here that it's resolving higher out of, or at least trying to. A little bit of slippage this week, but last week looks like it kind of broke out. Yeah, I like this one a lot. You guys are bringing some great setups lately, but it is a bull market. So as long as this thing's above 270, playing it up to like 319, 320 here. But this looks like a really nice base that's resolving higher within a really long-term strong uptrend. So I like this one. Very nice one. It looks like volume might be a little light, but that's okay if you're comfortable with that. Especially if it's like a longer term swing. All right, now it's time for the chat. Thank you guys for being patient. Mark, I'm reading your comment online. Dope Basil. Basing since September. Yeah. All right, so let's get to URA. So URA was really strong in 2023, and it started off really strong this year, but now it's kind of struggling recently. So it couldn't hold the former highs here, couldn't hold the breakout. So that was kind of red flag number one. So it's kind of already in timeout or the penalty box. And now is the second chance. So it's got a chance of redemption here. And it's trying at this kind of former shelf here. You really need to see this dig in here if you're a uranium bull. Really needs to hold support here. It is so far, but now at this point, you want to see it reclaim those former highs. If not, then this thing is probably just a big fail breakout, what we saw earlier this year, and you got to err on the side of caution. So it's really tough. I mean, this was a great trend for a while, and it looked really promising, but the breakout just didn't really materialize. You got it for a couple weeks, but it never really took flight there. So kind of a heartbreaker, but we'll see. She's not dead yet. There's a chance. Walmart. Okay, let's take a look at Walmart. Joseph wanted to see Walmart. Nice. All-time high for a big boy like Walmart. I'm not sure there's really a trade at this point. If you could give me time frame, that might be helpful, but This point, it checked back to this level. Really nice, successful retest there after breaking out last year. And here we are cruising towards all-time highs. I think for a target, I would use this. Ooh. Yeah, so looking for a short-term target of 62.42 there. But this is kind of a different one than some of the ones we were looking at. We're talking about a blue chip like Walmart that's just kind of steadily chugging higher. And of course, this is a weekly chart, so keep that in mind as far as time frame. CELH just reported earnings, huh? Oh, look at that. I already got it marked up a little bit here. We must have looked at it before. I know this is a fan favorite. This is wow, look at that thing right to the Fibonacci level we had there. Can't make that up, folks. If you're not a believer in Fibonacci, I mean, come on. So this thing, what a beautiful reversal today. Earnings reversals are very, very powerful moves. Like when you see something gap down like this and just viciously move higher like that, that move tends to last more than just today. Now we did reach the target. I'm not sure. What do we do with this now? It's already hit its target all in one day, right? The trade triggered and hit its target all within the span of a few hours. So I'm not sure. At this point, you probably want to see it consolidate here for a few days, and then you're looking for it to resolve higher and move towards that next one at 102. But wow, this is just an incredible move. And it was set up for it. It was ripe for it. We had all this already all these drawings were already there, but looks like it's been basing since September, and then bam, wow, what a nice move. Who brought that? Nicholas. Wow. Uh, ERF, another good one. So a lot of the times you'll see something, and we saw something earlier. I forget which ticker it was, um, but where you'll see something like a resistance level right before the all-time highs. It's kind of like the 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 guard before getting to the final boss here. And you can see this weird candle. Looks like we wicked into the all-time highs and then we couldn't really break out, couldn't really hold those at all. So at this point, yeah, that's your next upside objective, 19 there. You really need to see it clear that. If it can't even, if it gets rejected here, if it starts to fill this gap, there's really no reason to own it. If you're long, you really only want to be long if it's cracking this 18 level to 19, and then I'm not even sure I would use 19 as a target. I think you want to play this one higher. I think there's just not enough upside between 18 and 19 to justify it. But I think it could move higher if it does. Yeah, so then you'd probably want to play it to 25 there. These highs from 2014. I'm guessing this is an energy stock. Usually when we're talking about the highs from 2014, it's an energy stock. And it looks like an energy stock. Yep. All right. AbbVie. Oh, you know what? James, I'm not sure if you had AbbVie. Yes, you had requested AbbVie at first, and I was so excited that you did because AbbVie looks fantastic. We've been long this one. We saw this one trending and highlighted it in our newsletter, The Buzz, 2 weeks ago, I think. But really nice setup. And these pharmaceuticals have just been really strong. And with everything that happened with Eli Lilly this year, I think everyone's kind of looking for that next big winner in the healthcare space. Who's going to be that next large cap to do what that did? It never does. It doesn't have to, but people who might have missed out on Lilly are looking for an alternative here. And AbbVie, I'm not saying it's going to be an Eli Lilly, but it certainly looks good here. So you really got the breakout in November 2021, and then it's just been basing on top of this base, which I think is very constructive for the past 2 years. And we're just starting to resolve higher out of that 2-year base. on top of another base. So really like this one. Like I said, we're biased because we're long here. You got to play it up to like 203, 204 even. Um, but beautiful setup here in the right space too. James, that's a great one. All right, what else we got here? USO. You want to see USO? All right. Oil has just been such a mess lately. It's just been, you know, whenever I look at the commodity ETFs, I always like to look at the underlying first because that's really what those ETFs are trading off of. Um, but you know what? Actually, I take that back. We got a clear level here on oil. Yeah, this 80 level for oil. Um, if that breaks, and it looks like, I mean, we have tested it so many times there, and it's getting real tight here now that we're testing it a lot. So I'd expect this to break, and then look at that, right at an important Fibonacci level there. Yeah, if crude breaks this 80 level, probably looking to this 84 level for your next target. Um, so what does that look like on USO? Similar looking pattern here. And we talked about how those gaps can kind of create resistance like this. Another example right here, right? So not as clean here, but we saw it on oil, and I'll always defer to the commodity itself rather than the ETF. So I would say it's approximate level, and you could look closer at the chart there, but I'd say 79, 78 would be a decent target for in the short term. But you could really play it back to these um, September highs at that point if you want to be a little more aggressive. All right. Thank you for dropping more tickers, by the way. We're cruising through these, maybe we should do this one-on-one more often. All right. Let's do VANI. I haven't heard of that one. Vivani Medical. Let's see. Ooh, so yeah, we tend to stay away from companies that aren't over a billion in market cap. So we're not going to look at this one. Obviously, crazy things can happen with this one, but best of luck to you to it. SNPS, Raul, how are you? Thank you for dropping this one. Synopsis, I like this one. Really nice, strong uptrend here. What is this? Is this tech or pharmaceutical? Package software. Okay, so strong area. 88 billion. Wow. What is that? Earnings reversal there? Yeah, I mean, as long as it's above this level right here, this what is it? 575-ish? Yeah, that looks good above there. And really no reason to own it if it can't hold like 560 there. But if it's above, you gotta be erring on the long side here. Target 633. Looks like it almost hit there on earnings last week. But I think, it's holding up. It's successfully retesting the breakout level here. So maybe it's giving you a second shot. Maybe it's setting up again. And you have clear levels there. So it's definitely worth the trade here. All right, let's do lit. Lit, I believe we looked at that one a few weeks ago, and I think this is an interesting one because it's gotten killed so much. And it really hasn't had the kind of comeback that you've seen from other beaten down speculative areas of the market. You're seeing things like biotech and ARC, things like that have made a comeback recently, but this one really hasn't. Up until the last couple weeks, you're seeing a small rebound, but it's happening at a really important level here. Um, this 40 level, it was the highs in 2017. And here we are successfully testing it here. Pretty logical level to find support. For a target, I would be looking at a retracement of this move here. So I'd be looking for this 38.2, which is at $61. So that's about Man, 30% upside, 30, a little more than that. And you know what? Back to what we were talking about with the gaps and creating resistance. I see this gap here. I'd probably want to be taking profits before that. Um, because like we saw with at least two of those other tickers, those gaps can create some problems or create some selling pressure a lot of the times. All right, let's move on to, but I do think this one is ripe for mean for a little more mean reversion. And you got a clear out point. You got a clear risk level. If it's below 40-ish or 39, uh, you're done. You know, it's not going to work out. We were wrong. Okay. But it's worth the risk and reward here. Um, BLK, BlackRock. I like this one a lot. You can see we already had our level here. Successfully holding that. That's a really, really nice, constructive, healthy consolidation. And a lot of the financials look like this right now. I know Goldman Sachs, very, very similar consolidation going on. This really nice, tight flag. It should resolve higher. This should resolve higher. If it doesn't, that's a red flag. That's a problem. But so far, this is a textbook consolidation. Looks like a bull flag to me. If it resolves higher, you're looking for all-time highs, not just on Goldman Sachs. I know we started with BLK, but both of them, any of these big financials that are showing that high and tight flag there. So for BlackRock, looking to play it back to 950, those all-time highs. And then, like we were talking about with some of those others, at that point, the base is complete. You know, if it gets that move up to here, the base is complete at this point. So if you held for this long, you know, the fund's just kind of starting once that base is complete. So maybe you stick around. Maybe you stick around and play it back to let's see what that fibs out. Okay. Yeah, so over 1200 there. 1,260 for your target. But I really like how constructive this is, how tight it is right above a former resistance level like that. So really good one. AAP, thank you, Brian, to fill the gap. AAP, what is this one? Oh yeah, this is a little too small. Oh, sorry. AAP, yeah. What the heck? Advanced auto parts. Yeah, that's not too small. That's a big one. Ooh, I see what you mean. At first I was like, what gap is he talking about? But this is a pretty glaring one. Will it fill the gap? It's got a long ways to go before I think before we're talking about that. Let's see. It looks like earnings were yesterday. At least it's not breaking down too bad. Ugly little reversal today. Not too bad, but yeah, I mean we got a ways to go before it can even start filling that gap. It's got to move at least 20% higher before that gap. If it does, I mean, those gaps tend to be kind of vacuums or resistance, just kind of key levels. So if it starts to get in there, I'd expect it to kind of move fast, but yeah, I think it needs some more time. It does look like it's trying to form a bottom though. You know, you can kind of see this head and shoulders forming here. So I think you want to kind of see it slowly carve back. But this is one that I would probably just put on the back burner and come and revisit it maybe this summer because you see it's going to need some more time to kind of build out a constructive pattern here. And then maybe come this summer, the spring, then maybe earnings or something, some sort of catalyst will get you to fill that gap. But it's a little bit too soon to be talking about that gap fill, but definitely some constructive action there. SE, okay, another gap fill. It looks like we already have this one marked up here. I know this is C limited. Yeah, this is a fan favorite. I know Steve likes this one a lot. But yeah, okay, I see what you're talking about here. Yeah, it's entering the gap. You know, this is one that could move real fast up towards 56. So this is definitely an interesting one. Um, if you get that gap fill, then you're looking up towards 88, 89 for a target, but definitely constructive, also kind of forming a nice base. So working higher. I like that one. What else do we got? Anything else? ELAN. Did we look at that one? Animal Health Incorporated. So just kind of want to look at what they do a little more. Obviously, some sort of pet medication. All right. Man, it's been a rough downtrend since 2022. But making a little comeback here. I think you got to lean on this level here for support. Okay, so they just reported earnings on Monday. Yeah, I mean, it really needs to hold above this. I don't love that momentum is kind of dwindling here as even though it broke out, momentum is just kind of waning here. It's kind of just kind of lackadaisical. It's not giving that oomph that you'd want to see. What you want to see is you want to see RSI confirming a move. You want to see RSI hitting new highs with price, but instead it's kind of just dwindling down here. That kind of tells me that maybe we got to retest this before we're going to go any higher. So if you're not in it, maybe you get the chance to buy this retest, and you throw a stop in there around 1350 or so. And if you can't hold that, then you're out. But if you buy this retest, I would be looking for probably 19 here. This little shelf of resistance could probably create some selling pressure there. I also want to just fib this out real quick. Yeah, so right around 19. Perfect. Yeah. So just to recap that real quick, if it pulls back here, because it does look kind of heavy in terms of momentum, buying a retest around 14 would be a decent idea. Throw a stop in around 1350 or 13, and then plan it up to 19 would be your trade here. EQIX. Raul, thank you for bringing these. And by the way, Raul is a very accomplished technician himself. I always like looking at some of his charts on Twitter. And I've thrown you in the chart report a few times. So this one, ooh, very nice one. Very nice one. What is this? Real estate investment trust. What? Oh, okay. It looks like it's digital infrastructure. Okay, data center REIT. Yep, that's why I should have known. Yeah, data center REITs are kind of the anomaly in the REIT department. They REITs have been pretty weak broadly speaking, and data center REITs have been bucking the trend. They've been very strong. So, wow, yeah. You're just getting this breakout. I think you play it up to 1,125, 126 there. It's a really nice setup there, Raul. I'm definitely going to be putting this one on my watch list. Great one. Thanks. No entry on Elan. Oh yeah, yeah. So if you don't have an entry yet, I think that 14 level back to Elan real quick. That 14 level looks viable. Again, beware of that RSI divergence, but it's worth taking a swing there. 3M. Oof, that's a tough one. Yeah, it's hard to get excited about this one. I think if I'm going to be an optimist here, because first of all, this is in a nasty downtrend, and we tend to want to avoid downtrends unless it gives us a reason to buy it. And by that I mean it's showing some signs of a reversal forming. This one, I think if we're going to be optimistic, you want to see it form a shoulder here. So it's kind of doing it. This, you got one, two. Yeah, you're gonna want to see it hold this level here, around here, or at least not make a new low. And it looks like it is, right? It's finding some support these last few days. And then you're gonna want to see it. It's got a lot of work to do. It's got to fill this gap. And this is why downtrends are so tough, is because every time you make a new low, it just creates another task for the bulls to complete, so to speak. You know, it creates another roadblock. So this one asking for a lot, but playing it up to 110 here. That's the neckline there. And that is when it really starts. That's when the pattern's complete. And then I would use a measure move. For price targets on Fibonacci, I like to use a measured move. So you have 85 to 110 there. It's the one time I'll take it off of a log scale here. Yeah, so I'm taking it off a log scale to get a price target, because when you're using a measured move, you want absolute values. You don't want percentages. So right around 140 for your price target isn't bad for this one, but obviously it's a pretty solid company. It's just not really giving you a reason to buy. Just really long-term downtrend. It's gonna take some patience, but it is trying to turn. And another point with this is just on a relative basis, you know, the opportunity cost of holding this. This is 3M versus SPY. And you can see it is just persistently underperformed the S&P. So your money's better off in the S&P, even in a name like this. 6% dividend. Okay. Okay. I like that. And I'm sorry, I didn't know. I'm thinking as more of a short-term trader, but for a longer term play, yeah, it's tough. I mean, just, you know, look for a reason to look for it to give you a reason to buy, you know, like convincing breakout above 110 or so. Um, let's do one more and then we'll wrap it up here. You know what? I think we might have got, oh, we'll do DraftKings. Yeah. All right. And, you know, some people, we thought maybe the DraftKings was going to be a sell the news after the Super Bowl here, but it's actually holding up decently since then. And this one, yeah, I think you got to zoom out on this one and just kind of fib it out. Oop, I forgot we were in an arithmetic scale. Yeah, so looking for 49, 50, call it 50. And then 50 gets you up to 75 here. And that point, the base is complete. But this one looks like it's making its way back to the former highs. It looks like it really is trying to complete this base. So your next stop is 50, then you're looking for 75, and then we'll go so far as to say 115 if the base completes. Now that's a long ways away, but for what it's worth, 115 would be your target if it kind of hits all three of those. But we're going to shut it down. We're going to leave it here. But thank you guys so much for bearing with me. And this was a lot of fun. I always love seeing what you guys are seeing. And I'm always very impressed with what you guys are seeing. So I appreciate it very much. And we'll see you again on Tuesday. And be sure, if we didn't get to any, or if you want us to check some out, be sure to email us at questions@stockmarketmedia, and we'll be sure to get to them on Tuesday. Thank you guys so much. Cheers.